So here we are, Kathryn, one more year, World Happiness Fest 2022. And I don't know how you feel, but every time and every year, it becomes like more necessary to keep doing what we are doing. How do you feel?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's so much more necessary. We've been through so much, and oftentimes when we go through stressful times, our happiness gets pushed to the side, and yet it's really that's the time we need to be practicing all of the things that generate happiness, that keep us healthy. And yeah, it's scary what's going on right now, and sad, and there's just so much pain in the world. And so I'm so glad that we're doing this now to really elevate the conversation of happiness and the importance of it, and why we need to focus on habits during this time that keep us healthy.
Well, today we focus on health and mental health. This is one of the big days of the World Happiness Fest. We all know that in many ways, happiness is a state of mind, is like a wave. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but at some point it's very important to find the right balance. And we all know the importance of combining and understanding together hope and happiness. I think that today we are going to have an incredible agenda of experts bringing light and bringing a lot of hope in order to achieve higher states of happiness. But if actually there is somebody who knows about hope, is you. So what do we do, Kathryn, in a world today that feels hopelessness in many ways?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. I mean, we know that hopelessness is on the rise. And when we talk about hopelessness, we talk about both emotional despair and then motivational helplessness. So there are really two components of hopelessness: that you feel horrible and also powerless. You can't do anything about it. And we know that's happening, and it's growing around the world, both from COVID and then the war that's happening right now. We just did a survey that over 50% of young girls feel hopeless on a regular basis, which is terrifying, because we know hopelessness is also predictive of addiction, self-harm, violence. So kind of these negative things that happen in life are an outcome of hopelessness. And I think the most important thing we need to remember is that hope is actually a skill, and it's teachable. So it's something we need to practice, and we can practice, and we can always really move from hopelessness to hope. The key is just really knowing how. And again, it's managing that despair, that emotional despair, and then activating the helplessness to action. And so to me, right now, never has there been a more important time that we practice the skills for hope.
So today we are going to be learning from researchers, from spiritual leaders. Deepak Chopra is going to be with us, actresses such as Gabriela Wright, who is an amazing mindful leader, and she's doing so much with meditation and the platform, Never Alone. But we have neuroscientists, we have practitioners. How do you relate hope to science and to practice? What is the state of and the science of hope today?
Yeah, well, there's actually a measure. So there's an adult Snyder Hope Scale that we use. There are a few different measures, but you can actually measure how hopeful you are. And by knowing this score, it can really predict things like your athletic performance, even more so than abilities. How productive you are in the workplace and engaged, how well you do in school, more so even than your IQ. So there's a lot of science of hope, of what hope predicts in your life. And again, hope is not fixed, so you can practice skills to get to hope. What we're now teaching as it relates to hope, we use the SHINE acronym for hope. So the 5 keys to shine for hope. So when we talk about hope, we talk about first your stress skills. So identifying and managing your stress response. And how do you do that? And why is that key to hope? I think it's really important right now because, the stress response is when, sad, when we're in despair. It's that despair part of hopelessness. And so when you're sad, when you're angry, when you're frustrated, it's hard to be in that upstairs brain, which is where we're problem solving and collaborative and connected. And so in times of great distress, like now, it's really important that we feel, that we honor these emotions and we feel what we're going through, and we don't run from them to things like addictions or violence or whatnot, but that we really feel them and we provide space for honoring those feelings. That's really so important. And then again, we move to the H's, happiness habits. So we move to those things that keep us healthy and happy, sleep and nutrition, and kind of those really important factors that keep us healthy, exercise, so that we release those positive, happy kind of chemicals in our body. But we also talk about inspired actions, so how you take actions, creating nourishing networks, and then eliminating challenges, which are really around those thinking challenges to hope. And so there are scientists doing work in all of these different areas. So when we talk about hope, we talk about how to activate those specific areas through what we know.
So what do you want to get out of this day, Kathryn? The agenda is just amazing. I think that every year we do this even better. Somehow I feel what do you want to get out of this day? What is the key message that I want to send?
Absolutely. Well, to me, what I want people to get is that, to make time for happiness in life, that it's really important, especially during times of distress. I would say it's even more important. I used to feel guilty if I was practicing things that were healthy and elevated my happiness when there was so much despair. And yet that's actually the most important time I need to be practicing those healthy habits so that I can go out into the world and do the work to help activate in my own way and kind of how I do it. So I hope that people take away some ideas or things that they can do in their community so that we don't get stuck in despair, but we move to action. And so I think that activating this community through this day is really critical right now. And that, I hope that people get some things that they can do personally in their own lives, in their own communities to activate happiness there. There
we go. So let's kick it off. We invite everybody not just to actually watch patiently, which is fine, of course, if you want to do that. But actually, please bring your voice, your wisdom to this community. You are more than invited to share, to become part of the World Happiness community, and hopefully, and I know that we can do this. We can move from hopelessness to hopefulness. How do you say that?
Yes, hopefulness. I know. Yeah. I do. I want to mention too that we're starting a campaign, Hopeful Cities, and we're activating cities around the world on hope. And May 2nd, the first Monday in May every year is going to be the official day for hope. So we'll be having an event, and I think you'll be speaking at about really the importance of activating hope and learn from some of the scientists as well. So I encourage you to get engaged in that if you can. Yeah.
Yes, please engage on that. March 20th and a week, that's when we celebrate. This week is happiness. We were so lucky 10 years ago, we managed to get the United Nations passing this resolution. And now May 2nd is going to be hope. So I think that it's a perfect combination, starting with happiness, moving to hope, and then keep building the capabilities, getting access, and building community in order to maximize whatever we can do of positive in the world. So thank you so much, Kathryn, for everything that you're doing.
Yes, thank you. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so glad we're continuing this on, and our speakers are amazing. So really incredibly grateful to them as well for taking the time and sharing their wisdom with all of you.
So the floor is now open, and the second day of the World Happiness Fest, focused on health and mental health, is open. So let's enjoy.
Excellent.
Thank you, Kathryn.
Thank you.